And everybody, hello. This is Chronologically Gaming, and we are live in the brand new studio where we play every video game in order of release. And if you're just now tuning in, you say, okay, every video game, you mean consoles? Or every video game, do you mean you play one console's every video game? No, we play every video game console all over the world, every handheld that we can get our hands on, every arcade game, and every computer game that we can get to work or run. And we try to play every single video game. We started all the way back in 1971. I sound like an old crotchety guy. Hey, Marshall, welcome in. Yes, the holidays were really long. It was a combination of holidays, and it was also, we had to move, and I had to set up a whole new studio. So this is new sound, slightly different hardware, but then whole new setup that I have all around me. It still looks pretty much the same. I try to make it compare to what we did before. So it's just behind the scenes, the magic of what's happening behind the curtain. But yeah, great, thanks. Good, sounds clear. It's running fast, so I can talk with my hands, and it shows up on the screen. But we're having a great time. It's going to be a good time in 1982. We've been in 1982 so long. Yep, got a really nice one, and it's working really well for us. Well, except we did have an audio issue, but it was an audio issue because of the front end freezing, because we use a launch box and big box as our back end, and that was having an issue last time. But everything else is pretty good, and every now and then I got to tweak the sound for the different games we play, because when you go hopping from game to game to game between different computers and different consoles, it has varying degrees of which volume needs to be where. I can't tell you how many times I had to switch from Apple II volume to Atari home computer volume, because going from different emulators or different systems, it can always vary. Actually, I did ask my wife about that, because we have games coming up that involve the like there's an aerobics game on the Atari home computer, and then of course way later we have those games on Nintendo that are meant to be like Xer games. I didn't want to put myself up as tribute to the one that plays those, so I actually asked if my wife would do that, and I haven't heard an answer yet, but we got time before any of those games come up. But as far as a two-player guest, we originally had test runs of this show with me and my wife playing together. My wife is not a gamer. I am more gamer than most people put into one package, so we were just playing it off as someone who doesn't like games and what they thought of the experience to play every game, and then myself, a more experienced gamer or historian. But it didn't work out so well, plus timing to have the schedules align. But that's too funny you mentioned that, because we originally were going to do both of us playing games together. And lately we haven't run into too many multiplayer games. We actually had more in the beginning of the show when there wasn't as many viewers and subscribers. We had lots of games in the arcades that you could play with multiplayer. But now, actually, when you bring that up, Marshall, our new studio has a much better upload connection, internet connection. And so I'd love to have an episode that we play a game that allows multiple people to play, and we get people to remote in. And so viewers can not just watch the show, but you can also remote in and actually play the games with us. It'd be great to have like a 4-player game and 3 other people are remoted in and we're all playing the game together. That'd be fun. Oh yeah, there's a lot of really good 2-player games. I did play some of them with one of my friends, KC Club Kirby, especially whenever the Intellivision had its launch or its selective launch in North America. And we did play a few of the games there, multiplayer games. They were kind of rough, though, because if you're not familiar with the Intellivision or using that number pad, it can be tricky when you don't have the overlay in front of you. But yeah, those are a blast. Really fun. Well, welcome in, everybody. This is the Chronologically Gaming pre-show. We'll get right into where we were before, playing every game by game by game. But we're still having a blast, and still in 1982. All right, crack. Let's go. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We're going to take off right where we left off last time. It's the middle of December 1982. And we were last on the Apple II playing the subpar Jump Jet. Let's see what our very next video game release is. It's more home computers. It's time to go to the United Kingdom and play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Penetrator. Penetrator is a game we have already seen first on the TRS-80 in November, and here it is, ported, or the next port, to the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This marks the 156th game that we've seen so far for the ZX Spectrum. Melbourne House software, amazingly fast arcade action, includes training mode and unique customizing feature. Fastest, most exciting game for your ZX 48K Spectrum? Really? All right, well, we played them all so far. And remember, this is a home computer that was just released in April by mail order. So this is pretty much what you got. And you can see it's the cassette case as well. What other artwork do we have for Penetrator? It looks pretty similar to what we saw, at least artwork-wise. Here's one of the ads you would have seen from magazines announcing the most exciting game for your 48K Spectrum. Throw away those 16K Spectrums. You don't need them anymore. Very nice. And then besides the box, then another ad, a little bit later ad. All-time best-selling arcade game for the 48K Spectrum. So this is a little bit later. I guess they had the numbers in. Amazingly fast arcade action. Melbourne House, gaining a reputation for classy products. Very, very nice. So Beam Software was the original developer of this game. This is the 8th time we've seen this company doing games like majority on this ZX80 or ZX80 as we were saying it on the show. But they've done games like Strike Force, Hungry Horace, and Horace Goes Skiing. So they have made Horace Goes Skiing is a really great game for the ZX Spectrum. And besides that, we also have the map of the entire game. Here it is. This is Penetrator for the ZX Spectrum. This is it. There's all the landscapes where you're going to travel, and you can already see, because of the screenshots, what kind of game we're going to play. Oh, you can even see at the very end what it's going to look like, the last level, if we reach it that far. There's the cassette tape. Don't put this in your Walkman. This goes to play video games. Well, I guess you would put in a cassette player to play. You got to plug that into your ZX Spectrum. And then we also have the later release by Investronica. This was first published by Melbourne House. Beam Software and Melbourne House are all Australia. This is the 24th game that we've seen published or Melbourne House has worked on up to this point. And there's other re-releases because this is a pretty popular game. Penetrator on the ZX Spectrum was a hot one. It was redone by Microbyte Software and then even later by Investronica. I believe this one was in Spain. And there's the other one by Microbyte. Oh, classic Spectrum. So these are like later releases, but they did change the box. The box doesn't look as classy, actually. The original, or the other one we looked at, looked better than that one. That's right. I don't. You can take your guess. Is it Defender? Is it Scramble? It's usually one of those two. So if you open up the inside sleeve of your cassette case, this is what you got. So this is the later box, slightly later, because they added Kingston joystick compatibility support to the game. So rather than just playing on your little spongy chiclet keyboard on the ZX Spectrum, you can plug in a joystick and play, and that's amazing. So as I scroll through this, I'm going to actually zoom in. The artwork still is really good. They break down the scoring for us right there between ground missiles, neutron bombs, defending paratroopers, and then they talk about the controls. Up and down movement of the fighter plane is controlled by Q and A. Look down at your keyboard now. The minimum height your fighter can fly is obviously determined by the terrain. In other words, if you fly into the ground, you're going to blow up. Thrust and brake. Due to the forward momentum requirements of your fighter, you cannot stop the plane for any length of time. That's really funny because we played Scramble auto-scrolling games. To be described that way is interesting. It's possible to control your thrust and braking using the P and O keys, but they can only be imposed for limited periods of time. Firing control is using the A forward missile launcher, available to fire your plane. The launcher enables you to fire missiles directly ahead and activated by the P key. Wait a second. Firing and is the P key and thrust at the same time? If you hold the P key down, you'll get thrust. But if you hit it repeatedly, the same key, there's so many other letters on the keyboard. Why did they do that? We've seen it before, but why are they still doing that? And then bomb shoot, you can drop bombs also as well, controlled by any key on the bottom row of the spectrum. I love that when the spectrum does that. More games in the spectrum just have a whole row of keys for controls. And then they break down all the dangers you're going to face in Penetrator, and then some strategies that you can do to help you play the game. This is where the game gets interesting. They have training simulations. Very rare for a video game to have a training simulation, but it allows you to practice the game. And even bigger than that, training simulation is already rare, but this is even more rare. It allows you to customize Penetrator. There is a way to change the level and design your own level and save your own levels of Penetrator. That is awesome. It even explains how to do all of that right here. That is really what puts this over the top. I'll let you read the manual of the amazingness at your leisure, but for other releases or other versions of this, Melbourne House, Investronica, and then I'm also including the Timex Sinclair the Timex Sinclair 2048 or 2068 version, because here on Chronologically Gaming, we lump in all of the computers into one system. So the Sinclair's ZX Spectrum is also the release in North America, so we're doing all of them here. When it comes to consoles here on the show, we split those apart. The consoles released in, for example, Japan are going to get the Japanese releases as well as the releases in North America. All right, without much ado, let's play some Penetrator. This is Philip Mitchell and Veronica Megler, published by Melbourne House Software first. It's December 10th, 1982. Look at that splash screen, too, to match the artwork that we saw on the outside. I love it. So Philip Mitchell and Veronica Megler, this is the third time we've seen them on the show. Notably, they are the ones that worked together to do The Hobbit, which is one of the best, if not the best, text-adventure games with graphics that you could be playing right now. So this is their other release. Totally different than an adventure game, though. All right, so we just push a key. Oh, actually, the joystick works. I plugged it in, and it's actually responding already. And it spells it the same way as it did on the TRS-80. Very nice. This has a few different play modes. It allows us to play multiplayer hot seat style like an arcade. It also has a demo mode that'll play if you just wait long enough. There it is, Philip Mitchell and Beam Software. So here we go. We can put the number of players that we want. We can do the training mode. We can do the landscape. The siren. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. There's sirens going off. It has a button to disable the sirens. That's nice. But if you don't do anything, it starts this demonstration mode where the game just plays itself, just like the arcade, which is a nice touch. It has a single-player training mode as well, if you want to do that. And it's one of the first video games we've ever seen that includes a training mode, or a single-player training mode. There is lots of games that don't say it's a training mode. They just have a way you can play to practice. But even that's kind of rare. For a game to actually advertise, this is the training mode is kind of cool. All right, so let's get out of this. We don't need demonstration mode. We're here to play for real. But if you do play multiplayer, you are going to have to take turns with someone else. You don't get to play at the same time. I have seen some reports say this version of Penetrator allows simultaneous multiplayer, but I played every version I know on the ZX Spectrum, and there was no two people shooting at the same time. When that comes, it'll be a momentous day. I'll tell you that. Yeah, it's still really cool. Psychosis BD in the chat brought that up. All right, so let's do a one-player game. We're not going to do any landscape editing, but just know that it's there. All right, we're in. Let's go. Same sound we heard on the TRS-80. We're off to the races. And then we're in. So I got my Kimston joystick. I'm just going to mess around with the controls a little. Oh, man, it is there. Okay, so joystick control or control of the ship is absolute control. I can move it around in all different directions. Sound effects have much to be desired. But remember, this is the people that have upgraded from the ZX81 to the ZX Spectrum. They've added color and they've added the sound. But here's what makes the game interesting, or the controls interesting. This has what is... This control is what I refer to as jiggle joystick control, where your joystick has one button. So the one button is allowing my bombs to drop, if I just drop them like that. But we also need a forward-facing shot. So the forward-facing shot is if you tap the joystick forward. That's my forward-facing shot. But if I hold the joystick to the right, then the ship moves to the right. So it is really bizarre. Like right here, I have to keep tapping the joystick to the right really fast, but make sure I don't hold the joystick in. Now, if you think of it from modern standards, this is just really bizarre. But we have seen another game that has done that. I accidentally pulled up the digital keyboard there. because I was doing the jiggle joystick. So there's about 3 or 4 games we've seen so far that use the jiggle joystick, but it's only the beginning. It's because the joysticks have one button. We're going to see more games that do that. So it takes a while to get used to, especially when you want to go from moving out of the way or dodging something to firing a shot. I also want to know if this is like a scramble-ish clone, what am I blowing up that is going to refuel me? If you look in the bottom left, there's the danger zone. And the manual explained what it was, but we have to match out what they're explaining with actually what we're seeing on the... Yeah, this is really, really tricky. Oh gosh, and the whole screen changed to bright blue. That means we went to the next zone. At least there's no confusion. We know exactly that we went to the next level. So let's see how far we can go. One of the reasons I really enjoy these Scramble clones, or the games we play that are like Scramble, is to see the next level, to see what's coming up. Hey, howdy Brad, welcome in. We're playing some Penetrator for the ZX Spectrum. This is a scrolling shoot-'em-up. This is the 190th scrolling shoot-'em-up that we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. Scrolling shoot-'em-ups across all systems so far. This is the 114th scrolling shoot-'em-up that we've seen on all home computers up to this point. And it's the 10th that we've seen on the ZX Spectrum so far. And someone already mentioned in the chat, when you say a scrolling shoot-'em-up, that's either going to be Scramble, like this, or it's going to be Defender. The other games we've seen so far on the ZX Spectrum have been Avenger by Abacus. That was a Scramble clone. Spectrum Scramble was a Scramble clone. Ground Attack was a Scramble clone. Hey, cool, I can put my whole name in? I'll take it. We also saw Kamikaze, which was a Scramble clone, and then we saw a game called Starship by Sinclair User, which was a type-in game, and UFO, which another one was, they're barely considered shoot-'em-ups. I mean, they're like the bare bones of shoot-'em-ups, and they are on the ZX Spectrum, but the other one we played was Orbiter, which was more like Defender, Sea War, which kind of did its own thing, and then another one called Star Warrior, a vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up, but that one was fantastic. It was really, really good. All right, let's try to go in again. Get past level 2. But you can see once you run out of lives, you need to go back to the beginning. It's all over from here. But this game does offer something that the other games right now, and it's not super popular, and that's the level editor. If you don't like this layout, if you think the level we're playing isn't good, or you can improve upon it, you can do it. And then you can save your map, and then you save it to cassette, and you can share it with your friends. That is amazing. It's not super, super rare, but it's still, right now, it's not incredibly popular across all home computers. The level editor, or the map editor, at this point, we've only seen, this is the 17th video game that has a level editor or map editor. No, see right there, I wanted to do my forward-facing shot, but the whole thrust kind of blocked it. Let's see if we can get some more movement here. Go, go, go. I wanted to see the other levels, but we did offer or show you what the map looks like if you did want to see the others. And you have the option to play with keyboard if you don't want to plug a joystick in. This first version of the game, I don't think there was Kingston joystick compatible modes. I think it was keyboard only. But even still, the level editor and the training mode is what sets this apart from the other shoot-'em-ups up to this point. Other games we've seen so far that have a level editor or a map editor that you can create and save, well, Penetrator on the TRS-80 had it as well. There's also a game called Starfleet Orion that has it. There's a game called Pinball on the Coco that has a way to edit your own pinball table, which is cool. Ghost Hunter had a level editor. Pegasus 2, which was another Scramble-like clone. The Dark Castle game system has a level editor. Casey's Crazy Chase, sort of, allows you to change the walls of the game, I guess. Night Mission Pinball also has a level editor, or a way to customize it, and the arcade machine is out there, and I always rave about the arcade machine. That game was a create-your-own Galaxian clone, and it's very, very well done. Plays really well, too. All right, we've reached level 3. How can you tell? It's all bright green. And we've also played and seen the original, very first version of Pinball Construction Set by Bill Budge, which allows you to create your own pinball. That is top tier. Very, very good. Okay, so I don't think we have a danger level in the bottom left, but it looks like the danger level's going up because of the farthest we go. Is there not a fuel option here? There may not be. Oh, you really need those forward-facing shots. All right, we're down to our last life, I think. The joystick, though, is another rare treat here on the ZX Spectrum. This marks only the 7th game that we've seen out of all those Sinclair ZX Spectrum games that allows a digital joystick or a joystick support. Cursor joystick or Kimston joystick. Go, go, go. Oh, this is tricky. And we have enemies coming at us. I think we can do it. If I can always get my forward-facing shot, we should be all right. Ooh, yeah, cool. Oh, I panicked, but I got pretty far. So this is only the 7th game that uses the digital joystick. The other games we've seen that have a joystick are Flight Simulation on the ZX Spectrum, Star Warrior, Planetoids, Space Raiders, Cyber Rats, and Airliner. So not a whole lot of games where you can plug a joystick into your ZX Spectrum and play. The jiggle joystick control, though, it takes a while to get used to. And I don't know why on the keyboard they didn't have another button. They have the same color on the keyboard. I know, the colors really pop. They want you to know you're playing on the ZX Spectrum and not on the ZX81. So this is Scramble. If I do a 2-player, I'll just show you what the training mode's like. Number of desired stage. So if you click the training mode, you can pick the stage you want. Let's go right to stage 3 where we left off in practice. Awesome. It is so cool. We need more games that do this. But we're obviously ripping off Scramble. At this point, this is the 59th Scramble variant or Scramble clone that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming across all systems. We've seen 13 copies in the arcades. 4 of them have been on home consoles, not too much on home consoles. And this one is the 42nd Scramble clone that we've seen on all home computers up to this point. There's a lot of computer video games copying Scramble. Another reason why most people, when they do a chronological compendium of video games, they avoid the home computers because there's just so much out there. And that's why we've seen a lot of them, man. That is tricky, even with the joystick. So this one is auto-scrolling. I like how the manual says we cannot avoid the change of thrust. We just have to keep going forward. Oh yeah, keep bombing them. That'll work. That one did not work. Man, it's tricky. So we already see some ratings being thrown out. We're here live in 1982. You can join us on the show being a Chronologically Gaming listener and influencer by putting your ratings out as if it was December 1982, and this is all you knew. This was, as far as all the video games, how would you rate this game compared to all the other games available on home computers? All right, I got to focus through this spot, see if I can do it. Barely. Okay, now I just can't. Oh man, it's tight. This game is going to be ported later, again in 1983, to the Timex Sinclair 2068 and the Microbe. The 2068, we're not going to see that computer because this is we're counting the ZX Spectrum with this as the same game. So don't expect to see that one. We might see Microbe, I don't know for sure. And then we'll see even much later. This is going to be ported to the Commodore 64 because by law, every video game needs to be ported to the Commodore 64. So I'm seeing averages. Yeah, 4 for the ZX Spectrum. The gameplay could be improved if it wasn't jiggle joystick, in my opinion, but the reason why I consider this at least a 3.5-star game across all home computers or an above average game is because of the level editor and the training mode. Because we play Scramble games and it's fun to play Scramble variants where you want to see what the next level is or how far you can go. But to have a game where you pretty much have endless possibilities and you can design and make the levels the way you want is through the roof. It bumps it up to an excellent video game rather than just an average one. So Penetrator is really fun, and going from level to level is really fun, but the ability to switch it up and just say, I don't even want to make the level like this and I want to change it to be the level I want it to be, it offers way more playtime. All right, let's see if we can make it through. We're in training mode. We're supposed to be training here. No. But that's the fun of Scramble. I love being able to go from, it feels like you're going on a mission through tunnels. And it was the joy we had back in 1981 whenever the horizontally scrolling shooters were just becoming a thing. And now they're getting ported, and now people are changing them up. And I'd be curious to know, with games that allow you to make the levels like this, we've seen younger developers or companies kind of reach out to younger developers trying to get them to make games for them. And I wonder if anybody made levels and then they ended up turning into their own game, because we saw it with Arcade Machine. They tasked people to see what they could make or build. We did it! Made it to level 4. And new enemy type too? Sweet. Well, let's see how far we can run this. So ratings are being thrown out now of what you would say you would give Penetrator on the ZX Spectrum. Yeah, because of that mode, I got one four star from Psychosis Media, and then a 3 from Brad, 3.5. Did we get extra lives? Yeah, they gave us some extra lives. There's no way I could have lasted that long, because I've died so many times. Or I know why, because we're doing trainer mode. Trainer mode, you can just keep going, right? Yeah, you don't get... you don't have lives. I think you can just keep practicing. That is amazing. This puts it through the roof of examples of arcade games that you can go to the arcade for right now, but then you can go home and play these games for a lot longer and have functionality that the arcade doesn't have. That's so cool. So yeah, you could complain about the control of the game. You could complain about it's not as smooth as some of the other Scramble games we played, and that's fair. I'm still going to bump this up because the level editor and the training mode is so cool. Practicing, and you design a level, you can save it on cassette, then go give it to your friend, and your friend can try out the level you made, and then they can even do the training mode for it and play it over and over again. It's awesome. All right, I'm bombing my way to success, and probably going to see the end, because this one behaves very similar to the same thing we've seen with Scramble. Not Super Cobra where you got to pick up a payload. You just reach the end, and then it starts to loop, and it does that classic arcade gaming loop. And there it is. We've entered the red mode. Look how fast it's going now. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. And there it was. We were supposed to bomb that, and if we didn't, look at this. Look at this. Did they expect us to fly through that small opening? That is ridiculous. But we made it to stage 5. Let's see if we can get the bomb in here. Here we go. How do you fit? Oh, I couldn't fit it in. I wonder if it's even possible. Or you can keep practicing on training mode, I guess. Yeah, that's true. At this point in gaming, you notice that whenever I do the reviews, I haven't mentioned sound, because Paul Warner in the chat's bringing up the sound gets old, and yeah, you bet. It's making those like farting sounds from a racing game. But right now, music or sound effects, there's not too many as far as regular for video games. We are getting more ditties and sound. Music is even more rare. But as far as like the sound quality for games, I really don't touch on it too much because it's not as big of a deal. This one's big though. For right now, 1982 shows you the difference between the beginning of 1982 and the end and where we've come. Penetrator, just like I did on the TRS-80, I'm going to say it's excellent. We have some averages that we've seen from the chat. 3 stars from Brad, 3.5 from Psychosis Media. And there we go. Even Brian is saying 4 for the ZX Spectrum. For all the games you can play across all the computers right now, there's a reason this one sold so much. I'm actually going to go 4. I'm saying of all the games you can play across all home computers, this is an excellent game. And it's not really the main game control. It's the level editor that puts it through the roof. That what makes it really special. All right. Yes, the wet fart sound effects. We're going to hear more of those, especially on the Apple II. All right, after Penetrator on the ZX Spectrum, where's our video gaming taking us next? Our very next game is on the TRS-80. We were just talking about that computer. This is Sewers of Moscow. Not familiar with this one. Let's check it out together. Sewers of Moscow. This is the 165th game that we've seen on the original TRS-80. It's also available for the TRS-80 color computer, but we're only going to see this one. It's by the Softcore Software Company and Bob Krotz. It's the 3rd time that we've seen this company and this developer on the show. They did the Misadventure series. In other words, the adult-centric adventure series of games, or text adventures series of games. And you can see them here. The font is so tiny, you can barely make it out. This is the third Misadventure that we've checked out after Madame Rosa's Massage Parlor and Wet T-Shirt Contest. Both of those text adventure games we haven't played on the show because we usually don't play adult-oriented video games or sexually explicit video games. I know it's barely that considered that for 1982 being a text adventure as well, but this Misadventure actually has a good side. This Misadventure has no sexually explicit context, so sorry perverts, there's nothing to find here. This one just has you being a CIA agent, but they lump them into the same Misadventure series and even market them as adults-only text adventure games, even though this one really isn't really like that. So the good news is I'll be playing this one, but there is bad news. There's an example of the screenshot. The bad news is this game does not work. It crashes every single time. I'll show you what we get to do, though. Let's pop in The Sewers of Moscow, developed by Bob Krotz, published by the Softcore Software Company. It's December 12th, 1982. So you ready? This one is a one that is a broken game. I'm telling you now that the game does not work. It has lines of code that are messed up, and I cannot confirm if the lines of code are due to the emulation or if you were to run this game on actual hardware, it would work correctly. Because I can't confirm that, I'm going to play along and fix the code. There's another blogger named Ringa in Blue that plays every adventure game in chronological order. Sounds kind of like our show, but they only do adventure games or text games. They posted how to fix the code. So for the very first time, I will be fixing the code of this game just to play it. I've never done that before. So if any developers are watching, you should be proud. Here we go. First thing we got to do is load up BASIC. That's right, Paul. There was no Custer's Revenge, or there was, here's Custer's Revenge, and then we move on to the next one. Okay, so here we go. After we load into BASIC, then we load Sewer in BASIC. Just load the game, that's all. After you load the game, then we have to correct the lines that are messed up. So what I'm going to do is correct line 70 and correct line 72. And there's been mention before of other basic video games we played on the show that I can poke them and make changes to them and correct them, because there has been other games that have had mess ups. But this is the first time I'm actually correcting the game to get it to go. All right, you ready? Fingers and toes crossed. Let's run this. When you begin the game, it says, one moment, I make this up as I go along. And that doesn't mean it's randomly generated. I really don't know why the game loads so slowly. This is an interactive fiction or text adventure game. This is the 237th text-only adventure game or video game that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. They're available on all home computers only. This one is the 40th text adventure game that we've seen on the TRS-80, and some of the really good ones that are setting the benchmark of text adventure games would be Zork 1 through 3, The Institute, Lucifer's Realm, Nightwalker, The Talking Adventure, and then Scott Adams' Classic Adventures and Brian Howarth's Mysterious Adventures. Those are the better ones, so I don't have high hopes for this. Welcome to Misadventure number 3, Sewers of Moscow, with sound. And it's possible that because of the with sound thing, that's why this game was crashing. So everyone start rating the game broken, because it's broken. We had to fix it. You are slightly dazed. Your memory is gone. Oh, they're throwing the amnesia trope at us. Nice. No, if you are a developer, it is weird that it corrected the game, because this screen would not load. It would actually error out before we got here, but it worked. We fixed the game and we're able to play it. All right, let's do it. You're in a forest. Torn parachute, shredding are at the long branches overhead. So Sewers of Moscow, here it is. This is the main game. So we can look, I think, or is it showing us? I think they're doing this split like they did with the Scott Adams adventure games. Yeah, I'm curious too, Marshall. Did this ship broken, or did this ship if you had, the certain sound issue that we saw before is not even going to look. Or maybe the game's still broken. I don't want to have to load it all over again. Does it let me do any command? Or maybe it wasn't finished loading at all. I don't know. Oh, this keyboard control only for this one. You are a spy. You're supposed to be part of like an espionage style video game. Did it really just crash? Then we're totally going to call the game broken. This is the 27th game we've played that has a theme of a spy or espionage theme. We've seen games like Mission Impossible, Secret Mission, CIA Adventure, The Prisoner 1 and 2, Intercept, Kabul Spy, Super Spy, and Spy Daisakusen. It also has a World War III theme where you're supposed to dismantle a bomb to prevent World War III. And we've seen World War III tropes on like Crystalware's the game World War III on the Apple II, Red Alert in the arcade, Battle Sight on the Apple II. And this may be the first game that has a setting directly in Moscow in Russia. But I'm not getting anything. We are supposed to cure our amnesia as well, and the only other game that you cure your amnesia was Cyborg that we've seen so far. Yep, I apologize. It loaded this screen and it worked up to this point, but the text parser isn't going any further than that. Yeah, and it's broken. I'm just gonna say no. We didn't play Sewers of Moscow, so I was gonna give this one a broken rating anyway, even though we were gonna play a little bit of it. But even then, the game just doesn't function very well at all. Our broken rating is a 1-star rating, and I actually was going to give it a 1 star and be a little kind because it worked for the most part. But since I can't confirm if this game, if you pop in that cassette on real hardware and plays, I'll go half star. This live experience was not a fun one. So what do you do when your text adventure game doesn't work? You find a new text adventure game. Our very next release is Adventure D, Espionage Island for the Sinclair ZX81. This one is available on lots of different systems, but this is the first time we've seen Adventure D. Let's check it out together. Here's the cassette case for Adventure D, Espionage Island. Yeah, forget that other spy game. We want another spy game. This one is first on the ZX81, and we lump in all the ZX81 and Timex Sinclair 1000 games. This is the 97th game we've played for this tiny little micro. It's part of Arctic's Adventure series after Planet of Death, Adventure A, Inca Curse, Adventure B, and The Ship of Doom, Adventure C. After A, B, and C, what happens? You get to Adventure D. Let's flip over the cassette case. Someone even gave it a 0 rating. I would do that too. Why not? You have to survive an engine failure whilst flying over an apparently uninhabited island in the South Atlantic. Learn to treat the natives with respect, avoid capture, and harass the enemy, and return with the island's secret. Very nice. So this is by Arctic Computing. It's the 20th time we've seen this company do a video game on the show. Some of their really popular games have been Galaxy Warrior, Spectrum Voice Chess, Zombies and Sword of Peace, Crackit, ZX Galaxians, Invasion Force, and Namtir Raiders. And this one is another box. I believe this one was before the later release, yeah, because this one was re-released a few times as well. Besides the box, oh yeah, there's the other adventures. Planet of Death, Inca Curse, and Ship of Doom. If you like those, check out Adventure D. Yeah, and they have a screenshot of what the game's like after that. All right, so this one, I'm just going to pop in for just a sec. Let's put that cassette in and see Adventure D. This is by Charles Cecil. It is December 15th, 1982. The 4th time we've seen Charles Cecil on the show. Way to go, Charles. And this is our 238th text adventure game, only text adventure game on all home computers. It's the 9th text adventure game we've seen so far on the ZX81. And on this little micro, Arctic's adventures really have been the best adventures you could play on this little computer so far on the ZX81. There's lots of other ones on other computers, but the Arctic series is actually pretty good. Welcome to Espionage Island, Adventure D. You've been sent on a reconnaissance mission to observe an enemy island. Somewhere hidden on the island is a secret. Your mission is to observe the island. However, one of the engines is hit by enemy fire and you are forced to abandon your plane. Your adventure begins in the plane and leads to the heart of the enemy stronghold. You must then return to your aircraft carrier, but beware, your side may be fooled by your disguise. Your side? Like the people on your side? Dedicated to Lizcath, press any key to start. And we're actually not even going to begin this version of the game, and I'll tell you why. The ZX81 version is pretty much identical to the next port of this game. So where are we going? We're going to Adventure D for the ZX Spectrum, because this version essentially could work with both computers, so we're just going to go to this port and play the ZX Spectrum port. I'm expecting color and sound. Here's the box for the ZX Spectrum version of Adventure D, Adventure Island. This is the 157th game that we've seen so far on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. It's Arctic Computing's 21st game, and later it's going to get re-released by Sinclair Research a little bit later. Ooh, fancy. Yeah, it looks exactly the same. They just rebranded it for ZX Spectrum. What other artwork do we have for this one? So this one did come in other boxes. This one was before the later Sinclair Research. But then we also have one of the very first. Here's the cassette for Espionage Island. This is possibly the first box you ever saw, or the one you would have seen here in December 1982. Now, this is the first time we've ever seen Adventure D, and it's going to get ported to lots of other home computers later. But this one's cool. It looks like a home computer box, like someone did it themselves. It's very spy-ish. It even breaks down the story. It's all here. We got it all. It's great. I'm ready. So here's the manual for, or the write-up for another great adventure for your 48K Spectrum. Adventures are games which you explore strange new worlds without leaving the comfort of your own home. Yeah, we haven't heard that one before. The computer acts as your puppet. This one is a noun-verb, or verb-noun, sorry, verb-noun control. So two-word text parser to play the game. In Adventure D, you're on the reconnaissance mission to observe an enemy island. Somewhere hidden on the island is a secret. Your mission is to observe the island. Unfortunately, one of the engines hit by the enemy fire. You're forced to abandon your plane. Your adventure begins in the airplane and leads to the heart of the enemy stronghold. They even give you some things you can do because it allows you to save the game. Now, when we play other text adventure games where you don't save the game, that already loses lots of points, and it makes it almost broken if the adventure game doesn't save. So this one is just a staple. Of course, you're going to be able to save the game. And then it shows Arctic Computing right there. Thank you, Robin Stewart, for translating it. So other versions that you could have seen from this one, there's the later one from Germany, a re-release by Profisoft, Sinclair Research. We're going to play the first, Adventure D, on the ZX Spectrum by Charles Sissel. It's December 15th, 1982. This is it. Chronologically Gaming's 239th text adventure game. They've all been on home computers. This is the 13th text adventure game for the ZX Spectrum. We've seen Adventure 200, Adventure 1, Super Spy, Black Dwarf's Lair, Escape from Colditz. But I have to note, when you think of your rating for the game, the only thing that could really blow this away is text adventure games with graphics. And the best one of the best ones, is The Hobbit. That's available, and we've played it on the ZX Spectrum. Oh, we consider that a little different because it has pictures. Because pictures wow us. All right, here we go. Welcome to Espionage Island. We've already read the opening, so let's go. Do you want to restore a game? No. And notice that this looks exactly like the ZX81. And so I wonder if it's interchangeable, if you could just put the same tape in, but I don't think so. They marketed it a little bit differently. All right, I'm in an aircraft. There are no obvious exits. You can also see a parachute with a cord, a door lever. Tell me what to do. It already feels very classic, very average for an adventure game. All right, so I would say if we already heard that the plane's going to go down, I should take the parachute. And usually you don't have to type the whole word in. Yeah, para works. All right, so I take the parachute. Tell me what to do. We need to get out of here. So let's open door. The door opens, pulling you out with a rush of air. You plunge through the air and land, making a large red mess. You are dead. Do you wish to try again? There you go. Yes, I do. And that's great. This is how adventure games should be. Whenever you make a mistake and you die, you immediately reload and go right back to the beginning. All right, do we want to restore anything? No. We haven't got anywhere. I'm in an aircraft. I'll take that parachute again. Oh, you got to do a space. And you also have to remember you are typing on the little chiclet ZX Spectrum keyboard, the very spongy one. So do it slow, and you can't really type super fast. That's right. Let's try that. Wear parachute. Okay, we're wearing the parachute. Now open door. I can't. Tell me what to do. Pull lever. I'm in midair. Tell me what to do. This means we flew in the air, and I don't think it's time-based. Yeah, nothing's happening. It's not real time. It's going to take its time. All right, so look, parachute. I see the ground approaching very fast. Oh, pull cord. It worked. Whoa, it flashed really fast. We pulled the cord, we opened the parachute, and it will smother us when we land. I'm in a dark bundle. Tell me what to do. So the parachute, we're basically bundled up in the parachute. All right, so remove the parachute. Yeah, maybe it would, Paul. If we type that in, parachutes. Yeah, bring on the dad jokes. I love them. I'm in a jungle clearing. The exits are south and west. Tell me what to do. All right, so let's head west. I'm in burnt bushes. I can go south, east, and west. Let's go west. So this style of text adventure game has been around very early on, 70s, because the more modern ones, Scott Adams adventure games or the Brian Howarth mysterious adventure games, they split the screen up into two parts. So you have everything that's visible and then the text parser down below. This one's very classic. I'm in an aircraft wreckage. There's a dark corner here. I can also see a branch. So you can see we went back to the airplane. Let's go ahead and take the branch. Should be able to just do, maybe I gotta do the whole thing. Well, if I can spell it right, branch. Okay, so it took the branch. Tell me what to do. And then there's a corner here. Examine. Corner. I've hit my head on the fuselage. Uh-oh. That's not good. All right, so if we can't do that, let's feel the corner, which who would have thought to feel the corner if, I can feel a string. So that means instead of examining or looking at the corner, feeling the corner works. That's too crazy. Yeah, Paul's bringing up lots of things to try in text adventure games, and it's true. Send out the messages that you want to send, that you would want to say, because that's what I like to do in text adventure games. Most of the time, I'm following a walkthrough when I do this live. But to tell you the truth, when you have the text adventure games, you wanted to push the parser to the limit. What is the computer going to understand? So you try all kinds of things, and then it would always be funny if it understood something you didn't expect. Like you type in pick nose, and your character actually does it. Then everyone, I remember me and my friends would always freak out when it would work. Oh man, it knows what I'm talking about. Okay, I can feel a string. Pull that string. Don't type in too many words though. Some lucky beads fall out. Lucky beads? What does that mean? Let's take beads. Okay, tell me what to do. All right, let's head east now. I'm in burnt bushes. Tell me what to do now. Let's go east again. Basically back where we were in the beginning. We're in the jungle clearing. Let's head south this time. And as usual, if you were playing this game for the very first time, you'd have a map, grid paper. You'd be writing the whole map down. Thankfully, it's been played by people before, and maps have been drawn, but you'd be making your own right now in December 1982. So I'm in a jungle thicket now. I can see a match. Let's ignore the match for now. I don't think we need it. Let's head east. I'm in a grass plain, and I can also see a native woman. So can I talk? Talk woman? Did that work? I can't. Speak woman. Or maybe it's native. Talk native. No, you can't do that. So what you can do, though, is give the beads. She takes the beads and drops a knife at your feet and runs away. Take knife. Yes, we have weapons. Let's do it. All right, let's go south now. I'm in an eroded bank, and I have a crevice to the south. Let's go west. I'm in a giant forest. Go west again. I'm in an open clearing. Go west again. I'm in a dried riverbed. Let's head north now. I'm in a jungle trail. Let's go west. I'm in a guarded clearing. I can see a guard. The guard's patrolling to the south. So let's kill that guard. The guard falls to his knees. Now, how do we kill that guard? You have to have the knife. Clutching his chest, and he dies. A gun and pin light torch fall from his jacket. Nice. We upgraded from knife to gun. And we have the pin light and take torch. They still managed to squeeze in a torch in an adventure game. Just classic. I love it. All right, let's go south. I'm in the guard's hut now, and there's a table with graffiti on it. So read, hopefully I don't have to type the whole thing. There we go. It says Rick was here, 2709. So we have to write this down. So, or remember this. All right, so let's head south now. I'm in a river cove, and I can see a boat. Let's go ahead and enter the boat. Okay, and then what do you want to do? Do you want to push off? Let's say yes. You float downstream and drift to a halt. Sweet. And there it is. There you go. That's your first taste of the first time or experience you would have had with Adventure D. Bear in mind, our experience went pretty fast. You would have had to spend maybe hours trying some different things out, but this one is a very straightforward adventure game. Puzzles aren't super cryptic to solve, and Adventure D falls in line with the other ones we've seen on these other systems, and we're going to see this one later on lots of places. Arctic Adventure is going to publish this on other home computers like the Amstrad CPC, and the Commodore 64, because by law, every video game must be ported to the Commodore 64. I'm also going to include some links down below to the Ringa in Blue blog if you're interested in a more deep dive into the two adventure games that we tried out today. If you want to get more insight of someone playing all the way through the game, you can also re-rate your video game. So in the chat, I can already see Marcel throwing out 2.5 stars, pretty much around average for all the games you could play up to this point. Paul's throwing out 2.5 to 3. And then, yeah, the setting's kind of cool. I like the spy setting. I mentioned before, this one is the 27th game that we played that had a spy video game theme or a espionage kind of theme. And there's some other really good ones that we played, like Kabul Spy, that have been out there. So this one, I would say, of all the video games, yeah, I'm actually with Psychosis and Jeremiah. It's average. It's a 3-star game. It's very well done. It works for the time. You're going to find some enjoyment in it, and the puzzles aren't super crazy or ridiculous because of that. All right, so now we got to put our video game playing on pause. Thanks so much, everyone that's joining me live in December 1982, where we're going to be checking out and playing every game in order of release on all systems. No system is left behind. As we get closer to the end of the year, tell me if we've missed any games from 1982. I don't think so. We do have a lot coming up. We have the games that were released at some time in December coming up soon, and then we also have the games released at some time in 1982, because I don't know exactly when they were released. Well, next time on Chronologically Gaming, another mouse game in the arcade, a caveman handheld game, and a brand new underwater adventure only on the CreativeVision home console. That's it for today, and like I always say, will we ever see the end of 1982? Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer, rating the games as we play them. This video wouldn't be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Maine. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every video game. We have links down below that give more information on the games we played this episode, as well as our Discord and Patreon. There's a link called All the Games We Have Played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.